Everything I know about trading, I learned the expensive way. Over 16 years, with real money I worked hard to make. And most of it I could have learned without blowing through the kind of numbers I blew through. If someone had just sat me down and told me what I'm about to tell you. Most traders don't make it long enough to figure any of this out. Not because the market beat them, because they beat themselves. And they blow up their account right before things would have clicked. So give me the next minutes and I'll hand you what took me 16 years and a lot of very expensive mistakes to actually understand. By the end of this, you'll know the real reason your account isn't growing, and you'll have something concrete you can do differently on your very next trade. Section 1, size for zero. If I could teach a beginner one thing, just one thing, before they put a single dollar into the market, I wouldn't start with a strategy. I wouldn't pull up a chart, and I definitely wouldn't talk about indicators. I talk about risk. Specifically, I talk about size. Most traders don't fail because they miss too many winners. They fail because they let one loser, sometimes two, destroy months of work. And almost every time it comes back to the same thing. They were sized too big. Here's the rule I live by, and that I teach every single person who comes into my community. Before you take any trade, assume the entire position can go to zero, and then ask yourself, am I genuinely okay with that? If losing that amount would change your mood, make you feel sick, or make you feel like you have to make it back, your size is too big, and you'll cut it until you answer yes. That's what sizing for zero means. It doesn't mean risking nothing. It means sizing so that loss, if it comes, doesn't compromise your ability to think clearly on the next trade. About 10 years ago, I had a breakout setup on SPX that I've been watching for days. And the read was right, the timing was right, the setup was textbook. The only problem was I bought way too much. When the normal pullback came, which was completely normal, nothing broke, but my P&L looked like a disaster because of my size. So I got stopped out. And at the time, that stop out costed me $40,000. Then I watched SPX run 100 points in a single session. That trade, if I'd been right about it, the one where I got stopped out because of my size, made a normal pullback feel like a catastrophe, went 10x. I missed out on roughly about $250,000 of a move because I was too big in the position to hold through something like that. And it's not a minor detail. Size is the trade, and you can be right about everything and still lose if your size is too big when it gets uncomfortable. Survival is step 1, and you can't compound if you keep resetting your account to zero. So the second thing, and this one cost me almost as much as the first, you need a plan before every trade, not during it, before it. The entry, where you're wrong, and where to take profits. All three. Written down, or at a minimum decided before you touch the order ticket. And if any one of those three is missing, you don't have a trade. That's just hope. The most common failure pattern I see is traders who think hard about getting in and then make up the rest as they go. The problem is that once you're in a position, every candle that moves changes how you feel. Up 20% and you're greedy. Down 50% and you're scared. You stop making decisions off the chart and you start making them off the dollar number in the corner of your screen. And that number has no idea what price is actually doing. A few years back, I put on an Amazon earnings trade. The setup was there. I knew where I wanted to be. I had the direction right. What I didn't have was a complete plan. I never thought through profit targets, never thought through how I'll handle the volatility if it exploded, and the premiums eventually went crazy. And I never thought through where I'd scale out. The trade worked, it moved fast, exactly the way I thought it would, and the greed showed up. My P&L got bigger than what I was used to on that kind of setup, and I took profits very early, and I had that fear of giving back. That voice got louder and louder, and then I second guessed my re-entry, and then I cut it again. And by the time the dust settled, I basically built a completely different trade in real time than the one I entered. The setup was right. I just had no structure to protect myself once it started moving. And that trade cost me about $50,000 in profit that I left on the table. Not from a bad setup, but from a missing plan. So here's the reframe. Emotions usually aren't the problem. The lack of planning creates the emotions, and traders say they struggle with greed and fear, but most of the time they've built those conditions themselves by never deciding beforehand what they do. So once you're in the trade, you're negotiating with your emotions under pressure, and your emotions are the worst trading partner you'll ever have. Third lesson, this one I paid for the most. Stop trying to predict the market, especially if you're a day trader. You have to start reacting to it. Beginners, and I was absolutely one of them. I spent enormous amounts of time and energy trying to call tops and bottoms, trying to guess where the market is going before it tells you. And the market doesn't care. It doesn't owe you a move because your thesis is clever. It does what it does, and your job is to read what is actually showing you and then respond, not to front run what you think it should do. The method is very simple. Even if the execution is hard, define your levels and wait for price to confirm. Let the trade prove itself before you're in it. Reactions pay, predictions usually just cost you money. In 2022, there was a rate hike cycle. There was a real macro headwinds and growth stocks were getting destroyed. And I kept trying to buy the dip because buying the dip in growth names was what had worked for years. The setups looked the same on the chart, the same structure, the same levels. What had changed was everything outside the chart. I kept stepping in front of a freight train because I was predicting where price was supposed to go based on what had worked before, instead of reacting to what it was actually doing. Price was telling the story the whole time. I just wasn't listening. That stretch cost me over $1 million in real capital. And it wasn't opportunity cost, not paper losses. It was money that was in the account, then wasn't. And the real part, if I had just reacted to what price was doing, if I had stayed out or flipped short when the trend told me to, I would have been on the right side of the biggest move of that year. And the price was telling the story. I was just too busy arguing with it. The boring fix is usually the right fix. Wait for confirmation, let the price prove itself, and then take the second move instead of trying to nail the first. The market always gives another shot if you're patient enough to wait for one. The traders who go broke are the ones who can't sit still long enough to see what's actually happening. The hardest skill in trading isn't reading charts, it's patience. And the most common way patience breaks down has a name: FOMO. Of every blowup I've ever watched in my community, and I've watched a ton of them, roughly 80% trace back to FOMO and overtrading. 8 out of 10. And it's not a bad strategy, it's not a bad stock pick, it's just chasing. Just feeling like you couldn't sit still and wait. Here's how it always starts. Something moves without you. QQQ rips 3% before lunch, Nvidia breaks a level you've been watching and runs right through it while you're doing something else. And instead of pulling up the chart and asking where the next clean entry is, where does this pull back to, and where's the next real level, you feel it, the tightness, and that sense that everyone else is in and you're not. And the negotiation starts. It still looks strong. This might still keep going. I'll just get a small piece. But none of that is analysis. The real reason you're about to enter is that you don't want to watch everyone else make money without you. So you buy the breakout after it already happened. The contracts are juiced because everyone else already positioned. The risk reward is worse than it would have been at the right entry. And you don't have a real stop because you didn't have a real plan. You had a feeling. Then the stock does what stocks normally do. It pulls back. But because you chased high, that completely normal pullback hits your option premium hard. So now you're down 35% on a trade that if you had entered at the right level, maybe you'd be down 10%. And you either panic cut at the worst possible moment, or you have hope and you hold it because you can't accept that you chased. The setup wasn't the problem. The stock was not the problem. And by the time you entered, the edge was gone. You lost because you reacted to a feeling of missing out instead of what price was actually doing. Sitting in cash when there's no setup is a position. It's one of the best positions you can be in, and the market will always give you another opportunity. Your job's not to catch every move. Your job's to survive long enough to catch the right ones. Quick thing before we keep going, if you want to see how I actually trade all this in real time, the link to Elite Options is in the description. That's where I run my community, post my trades, and break down the setups every single week with the traders who are serious about getting good at this. Check it out before the video ends. Last lesson, and this one took me the longest to actually internalize. Detach from the outcome of individual trades and stop judging yourself on whether you made money or lost money on any single trade. Start judging yourself on whether you executed correctly. Because here's the truth. You can have a perfect trade and lose money. The price gaps through your stop, something macro level hits overnight, and bad luck. That's a loss. And you can have a terrible trade, broken your rules, no plan, emotional entry, and make money because sometimes the market bails you out. That's a win on paper, but which one actually makes you a better trader? A few years ago, I broke my own rules and got rewarded for it. I was in a trade that was moving against me, and I was already past the point where I said I'd stop out. And instead of following my rules, I averaged down. I kept adding because I was convinced it would come back. I had no business being in that trade at that size, and I knew it. It did come back. I got out green, and on paper, it was a beautiful trade. Up at the position, I closed it out, and I moved on. But I knew what actually happened. I hadn't been disciplined. I got lucky. And the danger of being rewarded for bad behavior is that your brain doesn't know the difference. It just logs it. And it logs that this thing worked, and then it wants to do it again with more size, with more confidence because it worked before. And that's how the worst habits in trading get built. You average down and get saved. You chase and get bailed out. You oversize and the market comes back to you. Each time it reinforces the idea that the rule that you broke was optional until the day it doesn't. That day came for me on another SPX trade about 7 years ago. Same pattern, position moved against me, same conviction, it would come back, and the same averaging down. This time the market didn't care about my conviction, and I lost $500,000 in 2 days. The trade never recovered. After that, something shifted. I stopped measuring my trades by whether they made money and started measuring them by whether I executed correctly. A bad trade that loses money teaches me something. A bad trade that makes money teaches me the wrong thing. Process is what compounds over time, not chasing outcomes. Most beginner traders are gone inside the first year, and that's just the reality of this market. And the ones who make it past year 2, who actually stick around long enough to get good at this, are almost never who you'd expect. It's not the person trying to double their account every month. It's not the person asking for an alert on every ticker, following every setup, trying to trade SPX, QQQ, Nvidia, Tesla, Palantir, and everything else moving that week. That person is usually gone inside 6 months. The one who makes it looks different. They come in the same way, wanting every setup, forcing action every day, feeling like they're missing something. They're not in the trade, but then something clicks. They simplify. They stop trying to trade the whole market and lock into 2 or 3 names they actually understand, and they start respecting size. They focus on catching the right move instead of every move. I had a trader in the community early on who felt like he needed to be in the market every day. Every green candle was an opportunity he was missing, and every session without a trade felt like a wasted day. Then he slowed down. He wrote down a plan before the open, waited for confirmation before entering, took fewer trades, and reviewed what he'd done and stayed with what was working. Nothing dramatic happened overnight, but 6 months later, his account looked completely different. Not because he found a better strategy, but because he stopped forcing action and started waiting for the right action. The traders who quit are always searching for the next thing, the better indicator, the faster strategy, the new setup. The ones who last eventually realize that trading is actually boring when you do it right, and they stop chasing excitement and start chasing repeatability. Most people imagine a blowup as one catastrophic trade. One bad call, one wrong day, and it's over. That's almost never how it actually happens. A blowup is a chain reaction. It almost always starts with something going right. I watched a trader come through my community a few years back with real talent. Could read levels, he could identify setups, his trade ideas were pretty solid. But the problem was he wanted results faster than his process could support. He had a few early wins. He doubled his account quicker than most people do, and that's exactly when things start to go sideways, because these wins didn't teach him discipline. They taught him that he had it figured out, and his size started getting bigger, patience started getting smaller, and the rules he'd been following stopped feeling necessary because he'd been winning without them. Then he missed a move. QQQ made a big push and he wasn't in it, and instead of waiting for the next clean setup, because there's always a next clean setup, he felt like he had to make something happen, so he chased. He entered late, he oversized, and he got caught in a normal pullback that felt like a disaster at his size. And instead of stopping out cleanly, he kept averaging down, and he convinced himself once the loss got big enough, he wasn't trading anymore. He was negotiating with hope. His original idea might have eventually played out. Didn't matter. The size was too big to think clearly, and then emotions were running the account, not him. About $100,000 gone in 3 months. Not from one trade, but from a chain reaction where one mistake made the next one worse. Chasing, then oversizing, then averaging, then refusing to accept the risk until the position was too heavy to manage. And that's how accounts actually die. It's not one blow up trade. It's a sequence of escalating mistakes, each one made worse by emotional pressure of the previous one. Alright, here's what you actually do tomorrow morning. Before you enter your first trade, stop. Open your notes app, grab a piece of paper, whatever you have, and write down these 3 things. Why you're entering the trade, the specific setup that you're looking for. Not it looks strong, not where you're wrong, but an exact setup with levels, with targets, and a stop loss. And then ask yourself one question. If this entire position went to 0 right now, would it put you on tilt? Are you genuinely okay with the position going straight to 0? And if the answer is no, trade smaller until there's no emotions involved. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Write down the plan, size for 0, then execute the plan. And it sounds stupidly simple. I get it. But it is stupidly simple. And almost nobody does it consistently because it requires you to slow down before the trade instead of figuring it out while you're already in it. And slowing down when something is moving and you want to be in it is genuinely hard. But here's what I need you to understand. the market is always going to be there, and there's always going to be another setup tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, and you don't need to catch every move. Your job isn't to trade more. Your job is to survive long enough to get good at this. And after 16 years of doing this, going from a small account to where I am now, watching thousands of traders come through my community and seeing the ones who make it and the ones who don't, here's what I know. The traders who last aren't the smartest ones. They're not the best predictors. They're the ones who stay disciplined when emotions show up, who keep executing the same process over and over, and who protect their capital like it's the only thing that matters. Because it is. You have to protect your capital first, and everything else comes after that. Now you know everything I learned over 16 years of trading, the expensive version. But the market in 2026 doesn't play by the same rules it did even 2 years ago. So click this video right here, because I break down exactly what's changed, the new rules I trade by every single morning, and the mistakes I still see retail traders making that throw the whole game off. I'll see you there.